folks, and welcome back to some more Genshin Impact. On our last episode, we had managed to prove the innocence of Lyney and Lynette during a trial in court, but not only that, we also had learned that they are working for the Fatui, that they were also in fact adopted by Arlecchino, and not only that, we also had learned a relatively dark mystery underlying Fontaine. The people can dissolve into war! So, with that wee tidbit in mind, let us continue henceforth and actually leave the Opera House because, holy moly, I more so just want to see what else is in store. So, could I be a bit more descriptive? Absolutely. Do I care? Not really.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too?
Well, I'm sorry, Navia.
Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
I was really only trying to defend Lyney.
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now?
Yeah, I think you lot could. I mean, you were fairly inquisitive during that whole ordeal.
And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all.
I mean, you are kind of jumping the gun a little, I'll give you that.
Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too.
Yeah, you were pretty enjoyable company, I'll give you that.
It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
Well, if you say so, let's go have that meal then.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in!
But of course.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal.
To be continued. Is there any more? There's more, right? Offerings to the Fountain of Lucine. Offer the... Oh, that's the god of the tree! Right? Yeah. Oh, so wait, you're just flicking coins into a fountain? Oh, that's so neat! Oh, that is such a subtle touch. I love that. Not the battle pass. No, nobody cares about you right now. Anyway, Lyney has been acquitted, but you're not sure about what your next step should be. You decide to take up Navia's offer for a farewell meal to celebrate your cooperation. Whoa, jolly cooperation, is it not? I was going to say if it was a cliffhanger there, I would have been miffed, but that was only part one. So, you know what? Fair dose. I mean, Samara's part one was also very chonk. Yeah, that's available now. We haven't really done any exploration, though. We've only really just done the bare minimum, which is play the Archon quest, get some waypoints. That's about the size of it. And hey, I'm gonna get pills somehow.
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
Okie dokes.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
You, sure have your own way of doing things.
Yeah.
Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right? We did just win that case after all.
It was a pleasure working with you.
Oh, true. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Yeah, because all we really had to go on was the water dripping on that Mondstadt lassie's head, right? But other than that, we didn't see it happen because she wasn't Fontainian, huh?
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking! We were so close to hearing who was behind it.
Yeah, well, that would have been too easy, huh?
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough. Which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them. That's the kind of problems we solve.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
We wanted to ask the Hydro Archon for some information, but we haven't had much opportunity to do so.
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended. It didn't really seem like the right time or place to do it anyway.
I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled so far, was to have a chat with the Hydro Archon. I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a while, considering that you missed your chance today.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time.
Well, would you consider some more, unique ways? Perhaps even methods of, let's say, questionable legality?
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play, don't you think?
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard.
Alright, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then, wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions.
So, what's stopping her from calling the guard and apprehending us subsequently if we were to do such a thing? Also, that's the equivalent of breaking and entering! We're literally breaking the law to do that!
I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
Okay, but I'm sure you haven't participated in the act of breaking and entering.
That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Yeah.
Ah, valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's desire for sleep.
You really are a little bit aloof at times, huh? So, how could you overlook something like that?
Alright, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... Oh, I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing.
So we could just guilt trip her, is what you're saying?
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make some sense.
I mean, I'd say it's worth a try. We did see a part of her facade crumble, but that was also just some interesting storytelling how they did it.
Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Because I also just enjoy the visual, like, interpretation that the game does to show monologuing at times, what with the other parts of Furuna's mask just kind of crumbling away, but then you can kind of visually see it internally. It's an interesting strength that this game certainly has had. They don't always utilize it, though, from what I could tell, but when they do, they do.
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon. Would you like to order another?
No, it's fine. We're just about done here.
I was gonna say, were we about to have another case?
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
My drink also tasted that way too. But it's the saltiness to offset sweet. I mean, sweet and savory kind of go hand in hand, no?
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then. If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Thanks for the treat, Navia. Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore.
You could try walking, you know.
Nah, that would be so... normal. You know, like you.
Oh, I'm sorry that I don't have permanent flotation powers like you.
Okay. As for expenses this month, we're left with...
Oh, so you aren't loaded?
Hey, Navia, what are you doing over there?
Budgeting.
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
That was a pretty pricey meal. All thanks to Paimon.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again. Bye, Navia!
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll give your request the highest priority. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya!
Oh, that's a neat way to present it. Good touch, good touch. Oh, does that mean that we got the, what hole?
Wait a...
Yeah, we got the singular pool. Nice. And then we'll get another pool then and there. Wow. I mean, we also get the Primo Gems too, to be fair. Like, that's the thing as well, that sometimes you gotta understand how Genshin does things. Wow, it does get a bit silly at times with, like, the 2 Primo Gems per common chest or something like that. The thing is, right, like, if you manage to do a good chunk of that stuff, it does very much all add up, right? Like, you actually get a large chunk of pills a patch. I mean, enough to pretty much get a 5-star to appear. Whether or not it's a guaranteed one, well, you see, that's where the incentive to spend comes. It's a gacha game. Of course, they're not going to give you guaranteed 5 stars each and every time. In terms of, like, the on-banner ones. But that's what, you know, saving does, huh? Or a bit of moolah. You're one of those people. I can't say I'm not guilty of doing so, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily been a bad thing. I've only really done it for characters that I've really wanted, after all, and that I've had a lot of long-term enjoyment out of, and it's not been particularly often either way. Mostly a welcome battle pass person, and sometimes I even abstain from doing that. I just kind of do it if I'm actually playing the game. Or if I'm playing it long term. To be fair, for most of Sumeru I was. For most of Inazuma I was. During the Mondstadt and Leela era was when I took most of my break time, but to be fair, that was during the period where I thought I was generally going to quit the game. And I ended up trying it again on a whim. And then I just ended up really enjoying it, so...
It needs a more romantic...
I just kind of take breaks now and then. That's really it. But I digress.
There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
But I'll definitely try and put in a bit more time into doing at least the daily activities during the whole Fontaine period, because I do want to get quite a few characters, and honestly, I'm enjoying my time with the game again. I'm not really suffering the adverse effects of burnout. I just really want to explore and do a bunch more, especially with the new quality of life. I mean, again, that map feature really helps a lot for my psyche, because it was bothering me so much. It was like such a basic feature. Why isn't it in the game? And now it's in the game.
Vache.
Vache indeed.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voices again?
Yes, and it's clearer than it was during the day.
Ugh. That's kind of spooky. Are you sure we don't want to come back in the morning?
Vache? Vache.
Dave.
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be something nasty in the water.
Hey, it might give me some primo gems you never done. Anyway, I can feel strong emotions.
Huh? Hang on. Paimon can kind of hear a voice. It's calling for Vache, right?
Wait, what if some of the water that's in here are dissolved people?
Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Oh, it's an oceanid. Oh, where's this?
Vache. Are you my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vache? Do you know where my love is?
I'm afraid not. I'm sorry. Who are you?
Wait. Who am I? I'm very sorry. I fear I do not know.
Oh, so I guess there are some oceanids chillaxing in Fontaine. I mean, I guess only some kind of left, huh?
My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide, never to be recovered. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since forgotten?
You were once human?
Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I am but the consciousness of one who has lost their form.
You lost your form?
I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water, and then all grew dim.
So, could you be one of the girls who were dissolved?
I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure, loved exploring places of peril. No matter where I went, Vacher would go with me. I knew how dearly he loved me, and I also loved him equally as much. But now, we can no longer go back. The pain of such parting, I never knew how heavy it could be.
So, you need me to find him?
No, our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us to create any new memories. The thought of me gives him no succor. So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters. If you meet Vacher, tell him not to look for me. Tell him to move on. That is the only thing I still remember.
I believe it will be hard for him to forget you.
Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness, I saw Vacher above the surface. His eyes were filled with such sorrow, such longing. If only I could have comforted him, told him that I did not suffer. Indeed, I had felt a great warmth.
That means Vacher was a witness to the fact that you dissolved?
Is that what you call it? Dissolving? If anything, I consider it a form of release. It was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace, like the water's still surface. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world of endless want and anxiety.
It seems that after the body is dissolved, some measure of the consciousness still remains. So, I don't think all oceanids are made this way, right? Because that would just be very whack. But it's interesting how some could come to be from this. At least this particular methodology. I mean, maybe they all are basically spirits of once past people, right? I don't remember the entire lore about them. So, I could be wrong about any of these. That's why I'm not assuming anything, though. Because, wow. Well, that'd be presumptuous of me. I know some lore tidbits, okay? But not everything. And sometimes some of it kind of gets forgotten. And this is one of them. Like, the main prominent thing that I remember about the Oceanids is that some of them left Fontaine.
I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think.
Ah, right. I wonder how much time has passed in reality.
Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence. Remember, if you see Vacher, tell him not to seek me out any longer.
What?!
Look out!
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardemeks. Clorinde? chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Clorinde. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
Okay. I wasn't expecting that sequence of events to happen after the whole Oceanid sequence, right? Like, that was a bit, up to 11. So that's that part fall out of my head, past tense. Clorinde looks so cool, man. She has a gun, a flintlock pistol, I think. She was using Iron Sting, I believe, as well, so that means that she's a sword unit. I hope they put that gun in her kit in a really cool manner. If she's off-field, I would be so sad. Please make her an on-field. It would only make sense given her whole, like, duelist approach, right? Holy moly, that was sick. Also, really? Is Navia another Geo Claymore? Really? If she's a 5-star one. Oh yeah, you know what Geo really needed? Noelle free. We got Ito as the 5-star version. I know they play differently, right? I know they play differently. But if Navia is just another on-field Geo character with an infusion, I mean, come on. Although I guess I'm asking for Clorinde to be an on-field Electro character, so to be fair, is it really any different? I mean, I could just say that she's ka-ching with a gun if she ends up being that, but they could also have radically different playstyles, to be fair. Same thing with Navia as well. So that's why I'm really curious about how they're going to be gameplay-wise, but Clorinde looks so cool, man! I love it! Like, there are quite a few designs I'm really gushy-washy about. Right, like, Nouvelle, pretty cool. I'm not sure I'd go for him on a first run through, though. With Clorinde's being here, I mean. Again, it would completely depend on, like, gameplay as well, right? But I mean, like, look, the Archon's a definitive yes, right? Like, obviously. But Clorinde is looking really tempting if her gameplay is remotely as cool as her presentation was. I mean, to be fair, right, like, while I didn't enjoy Sino's gameplay from Samara, that's why I don't have him. His presentation was top-notch, even on a gameplay standpoint, right? Like, for those that enjoy him, all the power to you. Like, I even had a little faff about on my brother's account when he was playing on his old PlayStation, and they just passed the controller over to me, and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. But at the same time, I just decided it wasn't for me. Right? Like, I preferred Yaimiko's and Kuching's gameplay as far as ones that utilize Dendro go. I know there's Raiden Shogun right over there, but hey-ho. But dang, though. I just hope Corinne's fun. I really hope she is. Look, I have artifacts that you can lend from Kuching. Although you might end up using new ones from Fontaine. But I still plan on living in the Fontaine artifact domain still. Oh, I'm so gushy-washy about how cool it was. Like, I just can't get over it. I just can't. Like, Navia didn't really show anything flashy other than a big claymore swing, so there wasn't really any real showing. But the gun, though. But the gun. And yes, I could identify Navia's weapon as Light Blind, too. So they did at least keep it consistent that it was indeed Fontaine-themed weapons of the craftable variety that we've had since Mondstadt, which I think is a cool touch. They haven't really spoiled how their signatures look, similar to how Al-Haytham didn't have it, for example. But I think I'm excited for it nonetheless. That also is not an indication of how they would be gameplay-wise, though. Although, that could be wrong, because, I mean, Al-Haytham had a 4-star weapon of Elemental Mastery, and he very much likes that as a stat. So Navia could be another defense scaling Geo unit, which would make sense, because that seems to be what they make modern Geo units scale from. And Clorinde could just be another Elemental Mastery based Electro unit, probably to work with Daedra reactions once again. And to be fair, she would only be the second one released post Sumeru that is completely designed around it, right? Because, like, Kuching wasn't designed with Daedra in mind, as far as 5-stars go. And Yaimiko definitely was designed with it in mind. Like, she was made just before Sumeru. She had Elemental Mastery scaling, but she wasn't released post Sumeru. Still interesting, though. Still interesting.
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
Again, such a gorgeous design as well, but them buttons are doing their best. When I see it, I notice it more. Like, them buttons are really fighting for their lives. But still, the outfit, oh.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
I mean, yeah.
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same, were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Oh.
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorinde, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary emotional harm.
Yeah. Don't want to open up old wounds.
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
Man, the more I look at Clorinde's design as well, those eyes are very striking too. They've definitely upped their eye game, right, at times. Especially like post-Sumeru, I'd say. Because the characters definitely, since post-there, have had some very striking eyes at times. Maybe I'm wrong for not really looking at it the same way in like the prior nations, but I would say really only Hu Tao. I mean, maybe Shenhe too. Yeah, probably like only really those two from the top of my head are like the most striking eye designs, right? Like, the Archons are an obvious one, right? Like, that's just low-hanging fruit. But they definitely upped their eye designs and making more characters with more unique eye looks, right? Like with the patterns, the rims, and all that. And I think that's a really good thing because it just adds to the character's silhouette more of just, you can look at this design and be like, yeah, that's from here, that's this character. And it makes them way more well-defined, right? Well, again, it's not really a detail that you'll see from afar or even from behind when you're playing as them. It just adds to it, right?
Huh. I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act against me.
Not that I'm against the more, I guess, less over-designed ones that we've had since the earlier portions of the game. Like, Mondstadt designs early on weren't the most over-designed things, but they definitely still hold up to this day, and they're still some of my favorite designs. Liwa is very much similar in the boat. Like, Hu Tao's outfit isn't like the most over-designed thing. It's actually very modest, which I do appreciate, but them eyes are incredibly striking. And honestly, her design being as like unprovocative as it is definitely also helps her stand out more during that time period. It still holds very well to this day as a very well-defined character design. I don't know, I just kind of like making observation in character designs as well, because like, while these are definitely over-designed in some aspects, I also love it because it's just so extravagant, and it definitely sells you on the regality of Fontaine's like design etiquette, right? Like their whole dress code and what it's based off of.
And what about these Gardemeks? I thought only those associated with the Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law.
Oh, so that explains the ones that I had to beat up in the artifact domain. They're based off these type. Okay.
I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private force of sorts.
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's my father's true last wish. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clorinde. But if you get any ideas, tell me first. I don't much appreciate being followed.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
Toodly pips for now, Missy. I hope to see more of you in the future.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clorinde was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to thaw relations a little.
Yeah, just break the ice between you two.
I know, she's...
What just happened?
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were done for! Those Gardemeks came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Navia and her gang saved us! Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clorinde who came out to save us too! We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off otherwise.
Oh, so you're a fighter now, Paimon? Oh, I like how cheeky this is.
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. Not for me, anyway. In truth, I hope that every meal we have together shall be a victory feast.
Dang, false choice. I guess the game just assumed that I picked the thank you option.
As such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
But I didn't! I was being snarky!
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her goodwill long ago.
All right, you two. That's enough.
I do like those two side commentary at times. It's charming.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow? Ooh, Paimon's even more amazing than she thought!
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did that help?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky?
Wait, do you mean that? I thought it tasted strange as well, but I couldn't be sure. Wait, was it drugged?
Fanta only comes in sweet flavors, so how could it have tasted salty? The color of the drink, if I recall, had also been a bit off.
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial sea?
Oh!
Yes, so if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
Oh, Navia would have dissolved and no longer have been able to be sold on the gacha. Dang, that would have been tragic. We would have had Signora too! No! Instead of ashes, we would have water! Oh, we could grow a tree! No!
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving the boss.
Huh. Really?
Fortunately, Paimon, neither of us are from Fontaine.
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate, but whoever did this left no trace at all. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger and hurried here as quickly as I could.
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his Ugh, now we're caught up in this mess too, aren't we?
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of, and almost got their name in the process. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
Well, it can't be coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. She said that she heard that voice calling for Vache again. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too, but it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial seawater then?
According to Lynette, the ability to hear voices like that has to do with one's sensitivity to the hydro element.
Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
I also gained some new intel.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall we?
The voice in the fountain belonged to one of the missing women. A person named Vache was a witness when she dissolved.
Oh, that is important.
You tell everyone about what happened while you were connected to the ocean, its consciousness.
Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Could he have been threatened?
If he's still alive, we should try searching for him.
Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate.
Oh, I like this. We get to tag up with her again. Oh, that's neat. I quite like Navia. But alright, partner. Well, I'm not as hyped for her as Clorinde based off a first impression thing. I do still like Navia, right? Like, here's the thing. Right, you gotta pick and choose your battles when it comes to gacha. And if I end up preferring Navia over Clorinde, as far as gameplay and character goes, obviously I'd want to go for her. But the gun, though. The gun, though. I like the gun, and listen, for some reason, I really like the electro females in this game. I can't explain why, because here's the thing. I also really like attractive men, too. Right, like, Alhaitham still does things to me, and I am very much still glad that I triple crowned him to this day. And none of the dudes so far have come close to him, as far as being my new numero uno as far as Genshin dudes go. It begun with Kaya, and ended with, Alhaitham for the time being.
Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
Although, in all honesty, one of the reasons I hadn't felt Kaya yet is partially due to gameplay, though. But also on the Alhaitham topic and, well, side of things, I do appreciate him having a relative, like, hybrids, well, style of gameplay, because due to the nature of his burst, you can play him in a more of a quick swap style or a primarily on-field style, and it just flows so well.
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right?
Honestly, I'd be fine with Clorinde having a similar hybrid gameplay, or even Navia. You know, if Navia had that, that would be a way to differentiate her from Noelle and Ito. Although Noelle can kind of swap in and out because of her infusion not being lost on swap. But if she was like a semi-like quick swap character like Yaimiko, I think that'd be fine. Preferably a bit faster than Yaimiko in terms of setting up, but I think that'd be really cool. I'd like that. And not Albedo too, please. Not my burst is a decoration, as far as that goes.
And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook so easily, are you, Traveler?
Messing with us will cost them.
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
Okay, but she's taking a liking to us, and I like her too. You know what? A big stupid grin is good to have at times. I've had quite a few during this whole shtick that we've been going through after all. I mean, look, another thing that I'll have to say is that I've just been constantly enamored with this cast, but that's, well, to no one's surprise so far.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases, shall we? I'll arrange accommodations for you.
Heck, if anything, if I'm already this enamored, Lord knows what's awaiting me in the future though, huh?
We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners. But we'll take that one step at a time, I guess.
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
Okie dokes, we are done with that wee exchange, but I'm sure I'm going to be asking myself this question even in Snezhnaya, but I may as well get out of my system. If hydronation, why so goddamn hot? Like, holy moly though. But, well, anyway folks, thank you all for watching this here episode of Genshin Impact, and I'll see you all next time as we continue our journey through to that. Ta-ta!